Welcome back to the Direct Carpet Studios. Behind me, I've got the staircase that we're going to be working on today. We've already laid out the underpad. We're going to show you how to do a right turn runner with a landing today without a kicker. Yeah, you heard it, without a kicker. We're going to show you how to put the landing in first and then run the second part of the stairs up and the bottom part of the stairs down. So stick around. All right, this video is going to be as quick as I could possibly do it for you guys. I'm focused in on the landing here. We'll give you a couple different reference points. There is no smooth edge. We have already put the underpad down in a previous video, so we're reusing the same underpad. We've lined that underpad up. If you're looking for that video, you can find that video on my site. We've already got our pre-made runner. Our underpad is cut down to 24 inches. Our runner is at 26 inches. 26 inches wide. So what I'm going to show you guys is how to set up the runner first on a right turn landing. Okay, this is the easiest way that I could figure out. So we're going to line it up on those top stairs, and then we're going to line it up here on the bottom. Okay, and then we're going to lock it all into place, which is going to make it easier to line up your bottom and line up your tops for beginners. All right, we've got our tools over here. The tools that we'll be using today is a tucker, a hammer, a pair of scissors, some staples, a tape measure, and an electric staple gun. No kicker. This is a no kicker install. We want to center our runner. Now, I've already centered my underpad, so guess what? All I got to do is center my runner to my underpad, and I am good to go. I've already done all my pre-measuring. Like I said, there's other videos on my site. You can see how to measure and center, but centering is basically self-explanatory. Centering this landing on this landing is what you basically have to do. You can take a tape measure, now that looks pretty good for the upper stairs. Let's check the lower stairs. Yeah, that looks pretty good. You can get a tape measure on that. Now I'm going to do it quick because I don't want to waste your time. There's plenty of tutorials on my page if you guys want to see longer tutorials. We really just want to get this lined up. Now, like I said, I've already got my pad lined up, so pretty much I just have to line up my runner. Let's just get that in place. We look pretty even. So what I want to do is, we're not using smooth edge, we're just using an electric staple gun. So once we get that all lined up, which you can see looks pretty good, we're going to pop some staples in and lock it into place. So let's do that now. I'm going to start with the top. Make sure I'm centered. Everything looks really good. Now today I'm using a Roberts electric staple gun. Now, I haven't done a video yet, but guys, this is my favorite staple gun of all time. It is so good. It hasn't failed me yet. Okay, I'm just going to do this really quick so you guys can get the gist of it. Make sure you do your due diligence and measure, and make sure you're square. Okay, we're going to pop a staple in all the way along here. Then we'll work under the nose. We're going to work around here and cut off the excess. Now, I feel pretty good about where my stair runner is. I'm going to lock it down here. 1, 2. Lock it down on the end. All right, because I don't have any kicker, we're going to have to work that with our hands a little bit. Okay, I've locked it down on both sides. Now I'm going to simulate what a kicker would do. I'm going to push this, maybe even pull this here. Right, pull it as tight as I can. Push. And then lock that in. Now, I'm going to do that this way. Lock that in. Now I'm going to do it this way. Again, again, again. Now I put a staple between the binding and the carpet, and I'll show you that now. Now you guys, like I said, you guys can see this in other videos that I've done. I'm going through this quick so you can just see the gist of it. Watch this. Every inch. All the way along. That's why you cut your pad back 1 inch around the perimeter so you have a nice transition down, especially if you're using thick pad. Let's finish that off there. Now guys, I really suggest using a kicker, but someone had asked me to show a video without a kicker, so I thought I would. Okay, so we cut that off even. You guys want to see a more in-depth video? I have lots on my channel. All right, now that that's locked into place, let's wrap the nose. That's where we're gonna pull it over. Pull that over the nose like that. Push that down. This is where we're gonna get the upholstery thing. And then put that hard on the 45 and staple all along there. As many as you need to keep that tight. Every inch or so, all the way along. Take your tucker, score that underneath, feel for any staples. Feels good. Now, let's cut this excess off, leave about 1 inch. Score this into the 45 of the stair between your underpad, where your underpad gap is. Lock this down in each corner. And one in the middle. Take your knife on one end, knife on the other, into the middle. And your landing's done. We're ready to do the bottom. So what you want to do is make sure that this part is perfectly straight because you are going to blend it into the landing. Okay? This is important that it's straight. Line it up. Take your scissors and cut off any fluff that you see. Okay, bend that down. Tuck that in with your scissors, push that in. Get your staple gun and lock that into place. Now, you're gonna go around to your other side. All right, same thing here. Fold a little tab. Push that into there. Push it right in. Take something sharp like your scissors and score that down in. Take your tucker. You want to make carpet look like it was one piece. Get that in there nice and tight, and now lock that down there. All right, now you can go all the way along, wiggle that staple gun so you don't see the indentations. Like I said, I'm going through this quick, not to waste your time. You guys have probably seen my other videos. If you haven't, go check them out. Always wiggle that staple gun a little bit. All right, that feels good. Now let's move on downstairs. All right, now you should be always measuring your sides and make sure that your runner's gonna come down straight because you have to tweak it if it's not straight, if your stairs aren't straight. So if you've marked it out with tape already along the sides, which you can see in other videos, is you wanna check your measurements from side to side. Okay, and then run your carpet down a little bit, all the way down a few stairs so you can make sure that you're lining up straight. Let's have a look here. All right. So all we're gonna do is pull this tight, wrap this under the nose, and try to go up on that 45. All right, we're gonna take our tucker underneath. Pop a few staples on the sides. All right, and we're gonna work our way down. Now, we're gonna show you how to finish the bottom. We're gonna cut that excess off. Get that out of the way while we work. What I like to do is I like to fold it around. Get that worked in there, because I've got to cut that there, because this is where this is where the magic happens, where we're gonna join that bottom. Pull this tight, make sure you're following you're measuring on your sides, making sure that your runner is straight. Let's fold that around. Get it into the corner. Let's mark that with our knife or a marker. Okay, I know that's good there. Mark the other side. I know that's good there. Now, can we just join the lines here? Look at that. Wrap that underneath. Make sure there's no extra. I feel a little bit extra. This is where you can take your scissors and fine tune it. Feel with your thumb. Feels like I could take a 1/4 inch off. 1/8 to 1/4. You don't want to overtake, but remember, we are putting another piece of carpet under there, which will fill that little gap if there's one. Now, because this is on your bottom stair, nobody's going to see it. This is why I chose to show you guys this way. It hides any imperfections that anybody just starting out and doing it themselves might find. Pull this tight, wrap it straight up underneath. Pull straight, wrap it. Same thing, all the way along. Feel any extra? If you feel any extra, have a look. You can even take your knife, 45 it, and cut that extra off. All right. Perfect. Let's take our tape measure and measure from this side down on the outside stair. It says 7.5. I'm gonna do the same thing on the other side. It says 7.5. And then when you buy a runner from us at Direct Carpet, we always sew a bottom and a top for you. So this is how we're gonna do this. Now, obviously, you should never cut on someone's floor. Have something down. We had said 7.5. I'm gonna mark it at 7.5. Use a sharp blade. Now, for my other side, 7.5. You're gonna wanna use a straight edge. Line up the 2 tabs, make sure there's something underneath. You don't wanna cut the floor beneath you. Sharp blade, all the way along. Take our scissors, just trim off any fluff. All right, we cut that at 7.5. Let's see how we did. We've got our finished edge down the bottom. And we're a little big, which is good. That's okay. So watch this. We're gonna leave that out and cut this on an angle. And twist in and cut about a 1/4 inch off. What I like to do is I like to follow the lines on the back of the carpet. They're not always straight. If you feel like you need to, use a straight edge. Make sure you just leave that corner kicked out though, watch. See how that's kicked down? Let's fit this. Up underneath, line the edges up. Wiggle, 1. All the way down to the end here. No one will ever be able to tell. Your finished edge, nice at the bottom. And if you have any imperfections, it's all hidden under here. Nice, finished. Look at underneath. Even if you made a little mistake there, nobody's gonna be able to tell. Put that landing in with no kicker. Then we lined up with a straight edge on our top stair right at the inseam there on the 45. We upholstered down and around and underneath, all while keeping an eye on making sure our carpet was straight. Whether we measure with a pencil, we came down to the bottom stair, wrapped the nose, we pre-cut it, wrapped the nose, cut it exact, and then we measured for the bottom riser, and voila, our first part of our runner is finished with our right turn landing. Now you can do that with a left turn runner, landing, or a right turn runner. So now we're just going to finish off here. We're going to finish under that nose, and we're done. All right, now we have to go up. Going down was pretty easy, but now we got to line up to our landing. So we take our straight edged piece of runner and we get it into position to make it look like it one continuous piece up the hill. Okay, check how it's even on each side. Okay, get that in. Let's lock that up. Wiggle, lock it up. Now let's go down to the other side. Pull this in, fold this down. All right, looks good on the other side. Wiggle, and then every 5 inches or so, whatever you think, whatever the carpet needs. If it's pushing out, put another staple in. All right, let's cut that off. All right. Let's make sure we're straight all the way up. Okay, we measure, or we follow our tape lines. Now, because we're not using a kicker, this makes it a little difficult to keep it tight going up, because when we're coming down, we wrapped here. So what we're going to do on the way up is make sure we're straight, find our 45, okay, we've got it pushed in there a little bit, make sure it's straight. Let's just put our hands on there in the middle. We're going to put a staple, 3 on the outside, push this in, make sure it's straight, little staple on the side. If you want to see a better direction of that, my other videos show that in detail. Now, we've not gone under the nose here, and we're still pretty loose here, but this is what we're going to do. Let's score our line. All right, let's lock it in. Let's lock it in. Let's take our hammer and make our nice professional line all the way along. Now, we've still got this here. Now what we're going to do with a professional staple gun, I doubt you could use something without a lot of power for this. This is where you can rent these. What we're going to do is we're going to start at the one side, bend this through, 2 on the end. Use a lot. Score under. Make sure there's no staples. Now we're going to finish off under here. We've got our finished edge here, as you can see. So we're going to cut that off so we can cut that separate after. Just get it out of there. Want to make sure that we get our stair on straight. So that last one was a little tight to get in the staples, so let's pre-bend this a little bit. All right, maybe we can pre-form it a little bit. Different carpet is going to be, some's going to be stiffer than others, so this one's pretty stiff. So let's pre-form that a little bit. Okay, now that we've got it pre-formed, make sure that we're following our lines on the top. If we have tape, or we're going to use a tape measure, right? We discussed this before. I'm just going to eyeball. I'm going to pop some staples along the side here. Make sure I'm straight on this side. Staples along the side here. Now, before I go and I do this, let's try doing it here. Because this carpet's stiff, this will give you guys a good idea on stiffer carpet. Because if you have a weaker staple gun, the staples are not going to stay. But see, I've got some play here. This might make it a little bit easier for you. This staple gun's pretty awesome, so I don't have much problem getting the staples in with that. Don't be shy on the staples, especially if you're not using a kicker. You're going to need staples. Are going to be your friend. Feel underneath, make sure all your staples are in. If they're not, make sure you pull them out and reset a new one in there. Okay, that worked out really well. Let's work our way up to the next level here. We're going to score this back and forth. Back and forth until we have a nice clean line, because we're cutting this one because we've reached the top of our stairs here, and now we want to do the same thing as we did at the bottom. We want to fit that. We'll push in here. Let's just get a couple in there to hold it, because we still have to cut it, and we don't want to hit those staples when we cut it, because then it's going to ruin our blade. Now this is an alternate method to what I usually teach. Someone had asked me to show this method, so I am. We got a good blade on the back, so we're going to cut from the right and then the left to the middle. That blade's a little dull, but that's off. Blow all the junk out of there. Now listen, it's pretty tight for no kicker, but what we can do just to tighten it up a little bit is we can push it, staple, push, staple, push, staple, all the way along. All right, that's pretty good for no kicker. Now, let's do what we did before. Let's measure for the big finish. On the outside, from underneath, 6 1/4. From this side, 6 1/4. So guess what that means? We are going to measure this. 6 1/4, 6 1/4. All right, so let's do that. I'm going to use my scissors, 6 1/4 with a little kick. Right, remember the kick we talked about? You'll see that in other videos. Let's do this 6 1/4 with a kick. There's 6 1/4 there. Now we'll angle it down, kick up. Right, you can see that. And now we'll straight edge it. All right, we've got a little kick. Let's fit it. Now, as the one downstairs, it's a little big, and that's a good thing. You don't want to be short. Now, if you're looking for a carpet runner, left turn, right turner, or just a straight carpet runner, you can go to directcarpet.com, where we have tutorials there for you and carpet runners there for you. Now I'm going to angle cut that up again, and I'm going to take 1/8 of an inch off with a really good pair of scissors. And then we'll try it again. You can see I have a little kick out there. See how it's straight, and then I have that kick, and then same with the other side here. All right, now let's try this. Same as the bottom, opposite, right? So we get that in, fold this under our nose. Looks like it fits pretty good. Get our scissors in there and fit that nice and line that up all the way along. All right, make sure she's even on the other side. All right, nice line, wiggle, one at the top, every 5 inches, wiggle, 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 bottom, same, every 5 inches. Wiggle, wiggle. Right, wipe your staple marks out.